Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where it is finally time to put this knife on the review table and talk a lot more about it. And guys, this is a knife that I have been so excited about. Easily one of the most exciting knives that I've come across in quite a while, and I could not be happier to bring this to you guys. This here is the Knoll Knives Voodoo. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. I also want to give a huge shout out to Sean Knoll, owner of Knoll Knives, for allowing me to be one of the first viewers to get this in hand and let everyone know what I think about it. The moment, and I mean the moment I saw pictures of this guy, I was on my messenger to Sean saying, Sean, please, buddy, let me take a look at that. I would be honored to be one of the first, because it immediately, every line on this knife, it just really got my attention. One of the more creative designs I think I've ever seen, if I'm being totally honest, especially one that just really works and looks great. And I was luckily able to be one of the first to get them. So huge thank you to Sean for that. And we will dive deep into this, and I will let you guys know everything that I think about this knife. And I've got to be completely honest, I don't have a lot of things that I don't like about this knife. There may be one little drawback, but there's even light at the end of the tunnel regarding that, and we'll talk on that here in just a second. But first, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 8.25 inches, a blade length at 3.6 inches, with a blade width at 1.2 inches. Blade thickness is a slightly thicker than average 145,000 stock, with a blade material of M390. We have a hollow grind on the blade, and in terms of blade style, blade shape, you be the judge. Clip point, Warney, harpoon, there's a lot of things this knife could be, or this blade could be. But one thing it absolutely is, regardless of the actual style, is just stinking gorgeous. Handle length, we are looking at 4.65 inches with a handle thickness at 540 thousandths, with a handle width coming in right around 1 inch towards the middle of the handle there. As always, cat hair not included. We have a handle material of titanium bolster and titanium inner material with a micarta scale. Now, there's also some other options of micartas, and there's also a fat carbon version. Those will all be listed. You can follow the link below to see exactly what is available, but there's a total of 4 variants available. As you can see, this is a bolster locking mechanism with a user of a right hand only, tip up carry. A weight coming in at 4 ounces, which is very, very nice for a knife this big. As I said before, this was designed by Sean Knoll, owner of Knoll Knives, and the price is ranging from $345 up to $395. Now, keep in mind, the $345 version, I believe, is going to have micarta and probably somewhat of a standard blade like this. And the $395 version is going to have a hand rub blade with like glass blasted bolster lock and I think black camo fat carbon, I believe. That one is really getting my very direct attention. I may be picking that one up. I don't know. Regardless, I'm spoiling a lot of surprises here, but I will absolutely be purchasing one of these. But I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. Before we get into all the reviews and things I want to say about this knife, let's take a look at some size comparisons and see just what we have here in terms of overall length and how it measures up against some other knives. And I got 6 knives here. I got some budget knives. Here we got the Civivi Conspirator, and then we also have the Kaiser Towser K. And it measures up fairly well with both of those knives. This is a knife that's going to measure up with a lot of knives pretty well, because of that just overall width and length. It's just a good knife for size comparisons. We have your TRM Atom here. And then we also have a Benchmade 940. So there's those 2. And we got 2 more to throw up here, which may be the 2 best yet in terms of size comparisons. And that is none other than the Spyderco family of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, as well as your Spyderco Shaman. And as you can see, even next to the Paramilitary 2, it's still basically the same in overall length. You got a little bit of a camera angle you're working against here, so the Paramilitary 2 may look a little shorter, but from what I'm seeing, they're pretty much identical in overall length. So there's your size comparisons for you. I think those probably did a lot of people justice. And now let's talk about this knife. And of course, we'll start with the blade and just more cat hair. I promise yours will not come with cat hair. A ridiculously, but also stunningly unique blade shape that, like I said, to be honest, I'm not even sure where to begin. So we'll start with this edge here, which is a razor sharp edge coming in at 18 thousandths paired with a nice, very nice hollow grind. You just can't go wrong with this type of blade, in my opinion. Now, of course, you don't have you got the milled out area and this, that, and the other. So it's whatever. It's still a slicer. This knife is 100% a slicer. And when you get up to this tip, a ridiculously slicey tip. And this is one of the only parts of this knife that some people may look at and be like, oh, I'm worried about snapping that tip. I mean, yeah, it's not the strongest tip in the world, but I literally looked at this blade for quite a while and thought to myself, even if I did snap the tip off, like right here, you could still have this blade modded, just have it kind of smoothed off here and turn it into kind of more of just like a sheep's foot harpoon blade. And it would still look gorgeous, and it would still be super slicey and just an excellent blade. So even its weakest point still yields some optimism and some good things that could come from it. So, you know, I don't have an issue with it. I love the unique blade shape. I would probably consider this a clip point harpoon. Maybe clip point harpoon Warney. It's almost kind of like a modified Warncliffe. I don't know. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what type of blade shape you think this is. Excuse me. Another thing that's very important to note, this logo here, the No Knives logo, that's going to be 25% smaller, which I think is a fantastic decision. It's going to look a lot better. With the logo there, I'm totally fine. I think it's a good place to have it because the handle, there's a lot going on in the handle, and I think having a logo anywhere on this handle would take away from the lines, all the attractive design work that's going on in the handle. I think it is a great place to put the logo right there, and making it smaller, 25% smaller too. That's going to be significantly smaller. I think this is going to look absolutely excellent in terms of a final production piece. And at the end of the day, this is just a really good blade that works well for me. I don't know about you guys, but I don't do a lot of heavy cutting tasks. I definitely use more, I need more of a slice your blade in my day-to-day. And you're definitely going to get that with this, and you're going to get a lot of sass and badassery in the design. So the blade is a home run for me. And then, of course, you have this milled out area and these thumb studs that, I'll be honest, most of the time, thumb studs like this are a complete flop for me. I can't stand them. The exact opposite with these. Could not be any more enjoyable than what I've experienced with these thumb studs. We'll talk more about that when we get to the action, but that was another thing that I think just really shocked me. Was I figured they weren't gonna feel good. I thought they'd feel awkward, and they just don't. They don't, and the jimping up here along the spine is also pretty good. Not the grippiest jimping in the world, but grippy enough to where it's definitely functional jimping that would help you bear through some cuts and get your thumb planted there and stay there. Now, going into these handle and ergos, the ergos are excellent, but not quite in the way I was anticipating. I thought for sure with this choil area here and this area here, it would just like fit like a glove in my hand right here. But it actually feels a little cramped right there for me. Maybe have a little wider hands. But I will say this right here, just kind of spacing my fingers out around this gap and using this choil, that feels great in hand for me. And then if I move back a little, this is absolutely phenomenal. It feels excellent in hand here, and this is one of the very few, and it might be the only knife where I don't miss not using the finger choil. And if you watch my channel a lot, that's saying something, because I'm always a finger choil first guy. And I can still use this finger choil and really enjoy it, but I moved back and I enjoy it equally as much. And I don't think, I'm sure I've probably said it at least once before about another knife, but it is so few and far between. I'm just not used to saying it. And to be honest, I can't remember a time when I did say it. But then going into the bolster here, even the bolster, the way the bolster is designed on this knife, it's so unique. Usually it's just kind of a straight line, or it's either, you know, angled or a little rounded or straight. It's not like this. I mean, you kind of have this wave or S type of design going that works just really, really well. And there's all sorts of contouring along the handle. There's contouring in here. There's contouring up here. It's just rounded in general. So there's contouring going on all over the place. A nice, strong inner handle with that titanium inner piece and a back spacer that adds a lot of strength and durability. And of course, as you look at that, it's got its own little unique design. It's kind of like a V for the voodoo theme. It just really works all around. And now this clip, you get back here and you look at this clip. I think it's a gorgeous clip that, in my opinion, it kind of adds like some Shirogorov vibes to it. I mean, this really does remind me of a Shirogorov clip, and in the best ways. Just very clean, works and flows with the handle. I mean, look at that. It's just fantastic. This really is, I mean, we're getting into like an artsy realm of design here that's not just a basic knife design. And that's what I really appreciate about this, is you're combining a lot of artistic touches, and where you can tell they really know what they're doing, but they're also at the same time keeping it a very functional, usable, you know, potentially hard use knife. I really, really like that with this. Now, in terms of the clip, there will be a few design changes that I don't think will be super noticeable, but it'll be more noticeable in terms of how it feels. The clip will also have a little extra chamfering on the production models right down around here, where I wouldn't say it feels sharp, but you feel the edge a little. But that's going to be chamfered and smoothed off, as well as the depth of the pocket clip or pocket cutout area where the clip sits will be increased for greater stabilization. Overall clip dimensions will remain the same, however, so it's not going to look any bigger or smaller. It's just going to have a little more of an opening up in the cutout area for where it will sit in your pocket. In terms of the lock bar access, it's very, very good. You got that nice little bit of beveling there, and it's even got like some texturizing. It's almost like it's kind of like a jimping or just some type of fine texturizing that you get your thumb, and it just easy to get into that lock bar and disengage the lock, and that blade falls shut. And this is when you get into the action that's so smooth. When this blade is closing, it's and I've actually, this could probably use, maybe it could use a little lube, because I've really been fidgeting and using this knife a lot, and because it's just so good. It's been really hard to put this one down. But just the overall level of fidget factor with this is huge, because you have these thumb studs that are fantastic. The texturizing and the jimping, whatever you want to call that, the little stair step texturing up there, it is as good as it could be. And you would think that maybe like somewhere along here there'd be some type of a hot spot or something that would be aggressive on your thumb. And it's not, because it's designed just right to where when you push, you're not really touching the part that would be aggressive or uncomfortable on your thumb. You're just pushing right on that side, and the blade flies out. Very easy to thumb deploy, and a breeze to middle finger flick. Whether you are using the thumb stud or the stud on the back, or just the milled out area, you can go all the way to the bottom here, and it flips out just fine. Or, of course, you can go up top, and that's really kind of my preferred way, because it's just foolproof. If you struggle with reverse flicking or middle finger flicking a blade, this is the knife to get, because it doesn't get any easier than this. If you can't middle finger flick this knife, you will never be able to middle finger flick thumb studs, because this is literally as easy as it gets. And it's so fun, so smooth, and just absolutely phenomenal in terms of action. I really could not be happier of this with the overall, with just the proto too, to know that there's going to be some changes made. Yeah, it's why I will absolutely be buying one. And guys, I don't know Sean that well at all. I got to handle his first proto, which I really did like, the Raiden, which I don't know if it will have been dropped by the time this video comes out or not, but this is around the time it's going to be coming out, so, you know, the Raiden's going to be available as well. And I like the Raiden, don't get me wrong. I really did like it. I reviewed it, and I had a lot of positive thoughts about it. But this right here, I will be buying one, and I will tell everybody that's thinking about buying one, get in on the pre-orders, because you do not want to try and be one of the poor suckers buying one of the few that are left over after pre-orders, because they go in the blink of an eye. The day they're available, they will be gone, and you just don't even want to put yourself through that. Get in on the pre-order on this, because it is going to be, I'm telling you right now, I really honestly think, so this probably won't be actually delivering until next year in 2023. It's going to be really, really hard for this not to be one of my 3 favorite knives of 2023. And I know we're not even at 2023 yet, but I am just really taken away by this. It's a fantastic design that is so unique, not from any other mold, just its own knife that feels great in hand with incredible action, a slicey blade, and even the way the blade sticks out and it meets the bolster up here in the handle, it's so smooth and it just looks good, whether it's opened or closed. It's just the complete package in terms of a knife design. Yeah, like I said, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. You know, I'm sorry, but it's just that good. And that's all I have to say about that. But that's it, guys. That is the Knoll Knives Voodoo. Let me know what you think of this. I couldn't be happier with it. I'll be buying one, and if you want one, you better get on the pre-orders, because like I said, you don't want to be trying to buy one of the extras that come through, because there's not going to be a lot. And by the time you see the other reviews, which I'm thinking are going to be extremely positive with this, yeah, there may not be any left. He may just sell them all on pre-orders. Who knows? But get on it. Don't miss out on this one, because it is a phenomenal offering from Knoll Knives. And I'm now even more excited to see what Sean stirs up in the future. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think of that. Really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.